Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Daily English Whisper. My name is Max, and I'm very happy that you are here with me today. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. There is nowhere else you need to be for the next few minutes. This time is for you. This time is for your English. Today, we are going to explore something that can completely change the way you learn. We are going to practice real English dialogues. Not difficult speeches, not long grammar explanations, just natural conversations that people have every day. The title of today's lesson is English Dialogues, Slow Listening and Speaking, Real Conversations. And that is exactly what we will do together. We will listen carefully. We will speak slowly. We will repeat naturally. And most importantly, we will learn how conversations actually sound. Maybe you already know many English words. Maybe you can read short stories. Maybe you understand simple videos. But when someone suddenly asks you a question, everything feels different. Your mind starts searching. Your heart beats a little faster. You know the answer somewhere inside your head, but the words do not come out. If you have ever experienced that moment, you are not alone. Almost every language learner has felt it. Many people believe the solution is learning more vocabulary. Others think they need perfect grammar before speaking. Some even wait until they feel confident. But confidence rarely comes first. Confidence often appears after many small conversations, after many imperfect answers, after many simple exchanges. That is why dialogues are so powerful. A dialogue teaches you more than words. It teaches timing. It teaches rhythm. It teaches how people react. It teaches how conversations move from one idea to another. And today I want you to remember one important thought. Every conversation begins with one simple sentence. Nobody starts with a perfect speech. Nobody starts by saying everything perfectly. Real communication grows one line at a time. One question, one answer, one smile, one response. Little by little, those moments become fluency. So do not worry if you make mistakes today. In fact, I hope you make some. Because mistakes mean you are speaking. And speaking means you are growing. Let's begin this journey together. Slowly, calmly, and with confidence. Let me ask you something. What makes a good conversation? Is it difficult vocabulary? Is it perfect pronunciation? Is it speaking very fast? Actually, no. A good conversation begins with listening. It continues with attention, and it grows through simple responses. That is why shadowing dialogues is such an effective practice. Instead of learning isolated sentences, you hear how two people naturally interact. You hear questions. You hear answers. You hear pauses. You hear agreement. You hear surprise. And then you repeat those patterns. Little by little, they become familiar. Let's try a short dialogue together. Listen carefully. Person A says, "Good morning, is this seat available?" Repeat. "Good morning, is this seat available?" Very good. Person B answers, "Yes, please have a seat." Repeat. "Yes, please have a seat." Excellent. Person A continues, "Thank you, I'm waiting for the museum to open." Repeat. "Thank you, I'm waiting for the museum to open." Very nice. Person B replies, "Me too, I've never been here before." Repeat. "Me too, I've never been here before." Wonderful. Notice how simple this dialogue is. But it sounds real. You can imagine the people. You can imagine the place. You can imagine the situation. Now let's try another. Person A says, "You look familiar. Have we met before?" Repeat. "You look familiar. Have we met before?" Excellent. Person B smiles and answers, I think we attended the same photography workshop. Repeat. I think we attended the same photography workshop. Very good. Person A says, now I remember. You showed me your landscape pictures. Repeat. Now I remember. You showed me your landscape pictures. Excellent. These conversations are not complicated, but they teach your brain how English flows naturally. Maybe you did not understand every word. That is perfectly normal. Do not stop. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Your understanding will become stronger every time you hear these patterns again. Shadowing is not about perfection. It is about familiarity. And familiarity slowly becomes confidence. Now, let's talk about the main question. How can practicing dialogues help you speak English more naturally in real life? Maybe you have said something like this. I know what I want to say, but I freeze. I practice alone, but real conversations scare me. I never know how to begin. I worry that people will not understand me. These feelings are very common. But here is something encouraging. You do not need to prepare for every possible conversation. You only need to become comfortable with simple patterns that appear again and again. Think about daily life. People greet each other. They ask questions. They thank someone. They apologize. They make small comments. They ask for opinions. They share little stories. These moments happen everywhere. At a train station, at a bookstore, while waiting for fresh juice at a local market, during a community class, while returning a borrowed umbrella, or while choosing a birthday card for a friend. The situations change, but the conversation patterns remain surprisingly similar. That is why we are going to explore several practical dialogue habits that you can use almost anywhere. You will see that speaking English does not require complicated ideas. Often, it only requires simple curiosity and the courage to answer. Imagine someone asks, "What brought you here today?" Instead of panicking, you calmly answer, "I wanted to explore somewhere new." Repeat, "I wanted to explore somewhere new." Excellent. Or perhaps someone says, "Have you tried this before?" You answer, "No, this is my first time." Repeat, "No, this is my first time." Very good. Little by little, these responses become automatic. You stop translating. You stop overthinking. You simply communicate. Before we continue, I have one small favor to ask. If this lesson is helping you feel more relaxed about speaking English, please give it a like and stay with me until the end. Some of the most useful dialogue habits are still waiting for us. For now, remember this. You do not become comfortable in conversations by avoiding them. You become comfortable by practicing one simple exchange after another. One greeting, one question, one answer, one smile. And every dialogue you practice today brings you one step closer to speaking naturally tomorrow. Now let's begin with the first conversation habit. Way number 1 is listen for the purpose, not every single word. Many learners become nervous because they try to understand everything. If they miss one word, they stop listening. Then they miss the next sentence. And suddenly the whole conversation feels impossible. But real conversations are different. Even native speakers sometimes miss words. They focus on the main idea. Imagine you walk into a small flower shop. You hear someone say, "We're preparing everything for tomorrow's event." Repeat, "We're preparing everything for tomorrow's event." Excellent. Maybe you do not know every word, but you understand that people are getting ready for something. That is enough. Now imagine another sentence. Could you wait just a couple of minutes? Repeat, could you wait just a couple of minutes? Very good. Again, you understand the purpose. Someone is asking for patience. You do not need to analyze every sound. You simply follow the conversation. Let's imagine you are visiting an outdoor photography exhibition. One person says, "The artist wanted people to see ordinary places differently." Repeat. The artist wanted people to see ordinary places differently. Excellent. Even if one word feels unfamiliar, you can still understand the message. That habit reduces pressure. And when pressure disappears, learning becomes easier. Remember this. Your goal is communication, not perfection. Every conversation is like a puzzle. You do not always need every piece to see the picture. Now let's continue. Way number 2 is pay attention to reactions. Real conversations are full of small responses, tiny phrases that keep communication moving. Someone shares good news. You answer. Someone tells a story. You react. Someone asks a question. You respond. These little reactions make conversations feel natural. Imagine your friend says, "I finally finished restoring my old bicycle." Repeat. "I finally finished restoring my old bicycle." Excellent. You could answer, "That must feel amazing." Repeat. "That must feel amazing." Very good. Or maybe, "I'd love to see it someday." Repeat. "I'd love to see it someday." Excellent. Now imagine someone tells you, "I got lost on my way here." Repeat. "I got lost on my way here." You might reply, "That happens to everyone sometimes." Repeat. "That happens to everyone sometimes." Wonderful. Notice how simple these reactions are. You do not need long speeches. Sometimes one kind sentence is enough to continue the conversation. And these natural reactions make you sound more confident than using difficult vocabulary. Now let's continue with another important dialogue habit. Way number 3 is ask one extra question. Many conversations end too quickly because people stop after one answer. But one simple question can keep everything alive. Imagine someone tells you, "I've been learning how to bake bread." Repeat. "I've been learning how to bake bread." Excellent. Instead of saying only, "That's nice," you could ask, "What inspired you to start?" Repeat. "What inspired you to start?" Very good. The conversation immediately becomes richer. Let's try another example. Someone says, "I visited a planetarium last weekend." Repeat. "I visited a planetarium last weekend." Excellent. You could ask, "What was the most interesting thing you saw?" Repeat. "What was the most interesting thing you saw?" Wonderful. Questions show interest. Questions create opportunities. Questions help both people continue speaking. And here is something important. Your question does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be genuine. Curiosity is often more valuable than perfect grammar. Now, let's explore another habit. Way number 4 is become comfortable with short pauses. Many learners think silence is a problem. So they rush. They speak too quickly. They become stressed. But pauses are natural. They happen in every language. Imagine someone asks, "What did you think about the movie?" You pause for a second. Then you answer, "I needed a moment to think." Repeat. "I needed a moment to think." Excellent. Or maybe, "That's an interesting question." Repeat. "That's an interesting question." Very good. These small expressions give your brain time. They reduce pressure. They help you organize your thoughts. Now, imagine you are discussing a new restaurant. Someone asks if you liked it. You say, "Let me think for a second." Repeat. "Let me think for a second." Excellent. Then, you answer naturally. Real conversations are not races. Nobody expects instant perfection. People pause. People reflect. People search for words. That is normal. The more comfortable you become with silence, the more relaxed your speaking becomes. And relaxed speakers often sound more fluent. Now, let's continue with another powerful conversation habit. Way number 5 is reuse useful dialogue patterns. The beautiful thing about conversations is that many structures repeat again and again. You do not need to invent everything from zero. You can adapt familiar patterns to new situations. For example, listen, I've always wanted to try that. Repeat, I've always wanted to try that. Excellent. Tomorrow you could say, I've always wanted to visit that place. Or, I've always wanted to learn pottery. Or, I've always wanted to ride a hot air balloon. The structure stays the same, only the ending changes. Here is another one. I wasn't expecting that. Repeat, I wasn't expecting that. Very good. You can use it when someone surprises you, when plans change, when something funny happens, or when you discover something new. Learning patterns instead of isolated sentences makes speaking much easier, because your brain begins recognizing familiar shapes. Instead of building every sentence from the beginning, you simply adjust what you already know. That is how many confident speakers communicate. Not by memorizing thousands of random phrases, but by mastering flexible patterns. Before we continue, I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me which dialogue habit feels most useful. Do you want to practice asking more questions? Do you like using natural reactions? Or perhaps learning reusable patterns sounds most helpful? Share your answer below, and stay with me until the end. The final conversation habit will show you how these simple dialogues can become part of your everyday life without requiring extra study time. For now, remember this. Every real conversation begins with listening. It grows through curiosity. And it becomes memorable because two people choose to keep talking. That same ability is already growing inside you, one dialogue at a time. Now let's discover the final dialogue habit. Way number 6 is let conversations continue after they end. This may sound unusual. After all, how can a conversation continue if the other person has already left? The answer is simple. You continue it in your own mind. Many successful learners replay conversations. They remember a question. They think of another answer. They imagine a different ending. This simple exercise trains your brain to become more flexible. Imagine you leave a small neighborhood bakery. The cashier asked, "Did you find everything you needed?" Repeat, "Did you find everything you needed?" Excellent. You answered, "Yes, thank you very much." Repeat, "Yes, thank you very much." Very good. But as you walk away, you continue the dialogue in your imagination. Maybe you think, "Actually, I forgot to buy some honey." Repeat, "Actually, I forgot to buy some honey." Excellent. Or perhaps, "Next time I'll try the chocolate bread." Repeat, "Next time I'll try the chocolate bread." Wonderful. You are creating extra speaking practice from one simple interaction. That is powerful. Now, imagine you visit a small aquarium. An employee tells you, "The penguins are usually more active in the afternoon." Repeat, "The penguins are usually more active in the afternoon." Very good. Later, while walking home, you continue the conversation in your head. "I should come back another day." Repeat, "I should come back another day." Excellent. These little mental conversations require no special equipment, no classroom, no schedule, only curiosity. And they help English stay with you long after the moment has ended. Now let's make this habit even easier with a few small daily actions. One simple action is remembering one interesting sentence before going to bed. You do not need 20, just one. Carry it with you. Repeat it while brushing your teeth. Repeat it while locking the front door. Repeat it while waiting for the elevator. One sentence can become part of your memory forever. Another tiny habit is imagining tomorrow's first conversation before it happens. Maybe you picture greeting a coworker. Maybe you imagine ordering breakfast. Maybe you imagine asking someone for directions. Your brain quietly prepares. And when the real moment arrives, it already feels familiar. Let's continue building this conversation habit with a few more simple ideas. Another useful microhabit is becoming an observer of dialogue. Wherever you go, notice how people interact, not to judge them, but to learn from them. Maybe you hear two neighbors talking about gardening. Maybe two students are discussing a project. Maybe someone thanks a bus driver. These moments contain valuable language. Imagine hearing, "Take care and have a wonderful afternoon." Repeat, "Take care and have a wonderful afternoon." Excellent. Or perhaps, "I'll let you know as soon as I arrive." Repeat, "I'll let you know as soon as I arrive." Very good. Collect these expressions like little treasures. You do not need to memorize hundreds. Just notice them, repeat them, and let them become part of your own speaking. Another helpful habit is changing one detail in a familiar dialogue. Suppose you know this sentence, "I'm looking for the nearest pharmacy." Repeat, "I'm looking for the nearest pharmacy." Excellent. Tomorrow you change one word. "I'm looking for the nearest bookstore." Repeat, "I'm looking for the nearest bookstore." Very good. The next day, "I'm looking for the nearest train station." Repeat, "I'm looking for the nearest train station." Wonderful. By changing only one part, you create dozens of useful sentences without feeling overwhelmed. There is another simple habit that many learners forget. Celebrate small conversations. Maybe today you successfully asked one question. Maybe you understood part of a dialogue. Maybe you repeated 5 sentences. Celebrate it. Progress is not only measured by big achievements, it is measured by consistency. One successful exchange today becomes 2 tomorrow, then 5, then 10, and one day you realize that speaking English feels natural, not because you became perfect, but because you never stopped practicing. Finally, remember to enjoy conversations. Smile, listen, be curious. People remember kindness more than perfect grammar, and conversations are not competitions. They are opportunities to connect. As we come to the end of today's lesson, let's take one final moment together. Today we explored real dialogues, not imaginary perfection, not impossible situations, real conversations that people have every single day. We learned that listening matters. We learned that reactions matter. We learned that asking one more question can completely change an interaction. We learned that pauses are normal. We learned that useful patterns can be reused. And finally, we learned that conversations can continue inside our minds long after they end. All of these ideas lead us to one simple message. Here is today's secret sentence. Every conversation is another chance to grow. Repeat. Every conversation is another chance to grow. One more time. Every conversation is another chance to grow. Beautiful. Think about tomorrow. Perhaps someone asks how your day is going. Perhaps you thank a cashier. Perhaps you greet a neighbor. Perhaps you ask someone where they bought a beautiful notebook. These moments may seem ordinary, but they are opportunities. Instead of avoiding them, welcome them. Instead of fearing mistakes, use them. Instead of waiting for confidence, create confidence through action. You can also bring dialogues into your own daily routine. When making tea, ask yourself, would you like some sugar? Repeat, would you like some sugar? Then answer, no thank you, just a little milk. Repeat, no thank you, just a little milk. You become both speakers. You become both listeners. And your home becomes a place where English lives naturally. Remember this, English is not only something you learn, it is something you share. A greeting, a question, a laugh, a story. A simple conversation can create a friendship, a new opportunity, or a memory that stays with you for years. So keep talking, keep listening, keep asking, keep answering. Every dialogue adds another brick to the foundation you are building, and that foundation grows stronger every single day. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please subscribe and continue learning with Daily English Whisper. There are many more conversations, stories, and listening practices waiting for you. And before we say goodbye, I want you to remember one thing. I am proud of your effort. Every sentence you repeat today is helping the person you will become tomorrow. My name is Max. Thank you for joining me here on Daily English Whisper. Take care of yourself. Keep listening with patience. Keep speaking with courage. Keep smiling through mistakes. And I will be here to practice with you again very soon.